different channels so that to improve the communication between CCM, principal recipients, and the CSOs and communities. And play a very important role in simplifying and disseminating the information related to the Global Fund to the communities, and develop mentoring platforms and networking platforms for communities. In the end, I would like to wrap up by a statement that was actually written by one of the respondents who communicated directly with me offline the survey. And to him, he he pointed out that I need to define community engagement. And to him, he said, community engagement is to increase participation, collaboration, and a voice. This is the very important. For communities to be engaged, they have to have a voice to generate effective result. It is the creation of a space for dialogue and the establishment of a relationship of trust and not of mistrust. Community engagement enables identification of priorities and improvement of performance. We should seek to improve equity and transparency to achieve together Global Fund's objective. Finally, community engagement involves strengthening governance, continuous improvement, social responsibility, and mobilizing resources for the establishment of lasting relationship. Thank you all. This is the end of my presentation.
Thank you very much, Arabia, for this informative and detailed presentation. And what an ending with this definition of community engagement. We often use this term and sometimes not really thinking of what it means. We are going to open the floor now for questions. So please, anyone who has a question, you can raise your hand. You can ask your question in any language of your preference, English, French, Arabic, we have interpretation. You can also write your question in the chat box, in the chat room. And by the way, we are going to publish the entire report in the 3 languages, and we are going to disseminate it on our website and with all our mailing list. And we invite you to join our mailing list. We are going to share with you now the link to join our mailing list, and you will receive all the updates and the newsletters. Okay, I see Ibrahim from Lebanon. Please go ahead.
Hello, everyone. I'm Ibrahim from Vivre Positive. I have a question, please. How can we motivate community members to be more engaged in Global Fund processes, given the many obstacles they face in the MENA region?
Thank you, Ibrahim. I think this question doesn't only go for me. I think the people in Global Fund, the team in Global Fund can also answer this question. Based on the findings and the interviews that we had with the stakeholders in the MENA region, the main obstacle is that these community-based organization / civil society organization, they have limited resources. They cannot actually train the people or the volunteers that they are working with because there's a high turnover, and they cannot retain them. So even if you train them, they're going to lose them fast because they cannot retain these people because of the limited financial resources. And as such, the real obstacle is having somebody who is really devoted in these civil society organization that would be the main contact person with the Global Fund. And this requires administrative costs and management to recruit such people to be more engaged. But when communities feel that they are making a difference, that their voice is being heard, And then I think this would be, again, another important factor to motivate communities to be more engaged and involved.
Thank you. So basically, it all comes back to funding.
Something like that, yes.
But if they're training those people to be able to communicate more with the Global Fund for them to be able to get more funding, isn't this a vicious circle? They need funding to be able to communicate with the Global Fund to get funding.
Yeah, that's why we said that it's not communicate to get funding or to get more funding. If they want to learn more and have more impact on the outcome of the funding request or on the interventions, they have to learn more about the community's priorities. For them to have a better capacity, they need to be funded, yes.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Ibrahim. Again, if anyone has any question, you can raise your hand.
I think Muhammad had raised his hand, Taline, before.
I think it's an old hand. Muhammad Bentawid, Muntasir. It is an old hand, Muhammad. I asked him. Muntasir Kawadri, please go ahead. And don't forget to unmute yourself before speaking.
Hello, I just want to make sure that you can listen me very well.
We can hear you, Muntasir.
Thank you for this presentation. I just need to give to provide a small brief about myself. I'm a sexual health and HIV content creator, and I also run my own organization, which is Pulse. It's based in Jordan, and it is registered. I'm not sure if it's a question or a comment. And I'm not sure who's attending this presentation, and I will be very straightforward in my statement. If the Global Fund wants to proceed in supporting non-community-based organizations, this is a mess. This is my first comment. The second comment is, when community-based organizations want to collaborate with other organizations, directly or indirectly funded by the Global Fund, they keep saying, yes, we will support you, and then we hear nothing. My third comment is, these organizations supported by the Global Fund, whether directly or indirectly, they keep claiming slogans and statements like, we want to make communities lead, let communities lead. But when communities show up, nothing happens, literally nothing happens. So it's just a monopoly in my own perception. So I hope to see a modern way of supporting actual, genuine community-based initiatives, supporting these community-based initiatives and organizations. I am a person who belongs to one of HIV key populations, and I'm literally spending hours and hours working for free just to serve people who are vulnerable and at high risk of contracting HIV, at high risk of facing violence, stigma, and discrimination. And there is literally no recognition for my pro bono work. And I'm really sorry to say this. Literally no recognition. Thank you.
Thank you, Muntasir. Actually, Muntasir, this is again was raised by people from key population, that, and not only from key population, actually from representatives on the CCM. And this is what we presented during in the findings, that there is this lack of collaboration and communication between the community members themselves and the community organizations that are representing them. And sometimes, even if in some countries where even the key population were members on the CCM, they didn't have the opportunity to voice their opinions because they felt that they are being intimidated by the government representatives on the CCM. So we understand your concern, and I'll leave it for others if they need to provide more input on the comment you just raised. Hello?
Maybe my colleague Ed is online, I think. Ed?
Yeah,
are you there?
I can come in. I thought there would be a session for me at the end to reflect. But those who don't know me, I work with Lynn. I am in the Community Rights and Gender Department, supporting the work of the regional learning platform, which is run by Mena and Mena Rosa. So on your question on motivating, I think the first one, right, on motivating the organizations to engage in the processes, I think access to funding is definitely one thing, but we also do see the experiences from other regions where organizations may not have been engaged in the global fund processes, but want to. And despite the funding, I think they see the opportunities of different organizations coming together to influence national processes as an asset to engaging in the global fund processes. And we do see some organizations really leveraging these opportunities to understand how the CCM works, the accountability that comes with the CCM, and the meaningful engagement approaches that apply to the CCM applied to engagement in influencing a national strategic plan, for instance. So we do see some example of that. I think that's one way of motivating organizations to engage in the process. And of course, I think ultimately with the desire to receive further funding, but there's also kind of other elements as well that could be beneficial for these organizations. In terms of the challenges around remuneration of frontline workers, I think we definitely can't agree more. In the context of limited resources, we do see some challenges around allocating sufficiently resources, particularly financial resources for remunerations for frontline workers. This is where areas around advocating with the government stakeholders to recognize different cadres of peers in the service delivery is going to be important, and is a priority for the Global Fund when we are in discussions with different stakeholders to make sure that the support being adequately provided to the frontline workers. So not more I can speak to that, but this is definitely a work in progress in the regions where we do see diminished resources for programs. But we also want to make sure that the organization that we do support demonstrate the ability to really build the evidence, as well as demonstrate the value added of their work in terms of generating demand for HIV prevention, bringing people to testing, and also supporting people living with HIV to stay in care, and that these services that are provided that are supported by Global Fund demonstrate to governments that their roles are critical to the effective response to the diseases, both HIV and TB. So I'll stop here. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Ed, for your intervention. And I think this is a great transition for the second part of our webinar. It is going to be a panel discussion moderated by Mr. Eli Araj, the Executive Director of Mena.